If you're looking at new construction in Wylie or Sachse right now, there are things happening in 2026 that a builder's sales rep is not going to tell you about. And that's not a knock on them. It's just not their job. So in this video, I'm going to break down what's actually available, what incentives are really on the table, and what you need to know before you sign anything. So let's start with what's actually happening on the ground right now. In Wylie and Sachse, you've got a mix of active communities that are still building. Builders like D.R. Horton, Lennar, Bloomfield Homes, Pulte Homes, they're all active and around these areas. Wylie has a little more volume right now. There's more new phases, there's more spec inventory. In Sachse, it's tighter. There's fewer communities, but if you're seeing some spillover toward Wylie side and closer to the Lucas border, that's where things are getting more spacious. Now, price-wise, most new construction in this pocket is falling between about $350,000 on the low end, up to $550,000 depending on size, lots, and upgrades. Now, here's where people get tripped up. The base price that you see online, that's not the number you're actually paying. A lot of those prices are based on base model or the minimal specifications. Once you start adding flooring, elevation, cabinets, and the structural options, you can easily add $30,000 to $80,000 without even realizing it. So let's talk incentives, because this is where the opportunity is right now. Builders are sitting on inventory in certain pockets, which means they're negotiating. So even if they don't lead with it, right now I'm seeing things like rate buy downs into the 4s or 5s, depending on the builder, closing cost credits, design center allowances on some of their inventory homes. But here's the key. You don't get those just by walking in and saying, hey, what are your incentives? That's not how this works. You need to ask it like this. What flexibility do you have on this specific home if we were to move forward this month? That language matters, because now you're positioning yourself as a serious buyer, not just someone that's browsing. Now, the preferred lender conversation. Builders will almost always tie their best incentives to using their lender. Sometimes that can be a great deal. Sometimes it's not. If the rate buy down outweighs the cost or the credits that you would get somewhere else, then take it. But I've also seen cases where the rate looks good up front and then the fees quietly take away the benefit. So you have to compare both of them side by side. Don't assume it's a deal, verify it. Now let's talk about the biggest illusion in new construction, the model home. That home that you're walking through, it is designed to sell you emotionally. It is loaded with upgrades. We're talking upgraded flooring, upgraded cabinets, lighting, trim, sometimes certain structural changes, the paint, and most buyers walk in and they assume that that's the standard. It's not. So when you're building or buying, you need to separate what's included versus what's an upgrade. And here's the way that I guide my clients on this. You want to spend money on the things that would be hard to change later. Those things are the layout, the lot, structural changes, ceiling height, things like lighting, hardware, and even some flooring. You can upgrade those after you close, typically for a lot less. So now let's talk contracts, because Texas new construction is its own game. Earnest money, it's not typically non-refundable on a new construction home. Once you're in, you're in. So if you walk away, you're likely going to lose that deposit. That's the difference between new construction and resale, and a lot of buyers don't recognize or realize that. You may also see certain clauses that heavily favor the builder. The timeline may shift, there's limited flexibility on changes that need to be made, and in some cases, the language that protects the builder more than you. And this is why representation matters. The builder's sales rep works for the builder. That's their job. So having your own agent costs you nothing in most cases, but it does give you someone else to review the contracts, to negotiate your incentives, and to protect your side of the deal. That's not optional, that's strategy. So here's my advice. If you're planning to walk into a model home in Wylie or Sachse in the next 30 days, do not go in blind. Do not go in alone. We can have a 15-minute conversation before you walk in that can save you thousands and a lot of frustration. If you want that, reach out, send me a message, or click the link. I'm Tara Rogers, the Collaborative Agent. Let's collaborate.